Hey everyone, we've got quite a bit of news to get through, so I'm just going to get straight into the video. We're starting off with the CMA because I know a number of you, having seen the thumbnail, will have wanted to see the update. It does seem like, according to The Verge, a preliminary decision by the CMA is expected next week, which is very good. Now, Florian here saying that he's optimistic and believes there are stronger reasons for it than in the late April, when I already hoped that rationality would prevail, but it didn't, at least not then. And Jez, being the Mr. Negative as always, says he'll block it, but no one is surprised about that one. Now, we're obviously hoping that this decision is going to go Microsoft's way, and if it doesn't, well, Microsoft will more than likely just close over the CMA at that point, if the CMA then decides that it is not going to approve it, because at that point, then the CMA has to explain to the CMC during the CMC hearing why they have decided to not approve this deal, and then what will be will be. But that is pretty much the update for the CMA. There is not much else until next week now, but hopefully next week we will get a preliminary response. That preliminary response, even though it's stated as preliminary decision and then it just needs to go through the process of being finalized and then reviewed and then yada yada yada, it is essentially the final result. It can change if something drastic happens, but as we've seen, it's very unlikely. So whatever that preliminary decision is most likely to stand unless something drastic happens. Right. For those of you that have Game Pass, which I assume most people here, we do have this little beacon here. Now, these are coming soon. Party Animals, is actually available right now today for you to go and play. So if you enjoy this is actually a really fun game. It is multiplayer. I've had a quick go at it with my kids. We had a lot of fun. So definitely check it out. It might not be for you, but it's on Game Pass, so why not? Gotham Knights is one that I kind of wanted to play, but not at the price that they were charging. This is coming to Game Pass soon. Payday 3 is also coming. Cocoon looked very interesting as a concept. You've got these cocoons, and within them are infinite worlds. And you go from cocoon to cocoon, exploring, and at least that's what I've gathered. So we'll see. I'm definitely going to check this one out. And then, of course, we've got the Lamplighters League. Now, something I wanted to ask you all, which let me know in the comment section below. When it comes to these games that are released on Game Pass, would you like a stream where we go through them on stream? There's usually 5 or 6 games, and we could quickly touch them through. I mean, like games like Gotham Knights doesn't need to because we've already been there, done that. The game's been around for a while. But games like Party Animals, Payday 3, Cocoon, and Lamplighters are new. Would you like that sort of thing to happen, or would you just like a video where I go over each one in like 2-3 minutes of gameplay and just give you a brief idea of what it looks like? Let me know in the comment section below and we can try sort something out. Right, for those of you that are playing on xCloud, this here is all the servers that Microsoft currently have. Now, these are, as you can see here, you've got the legend for availability zones with the blue dots. You've got announced region, which is the dotted ones, and then available region. And of course, you've got like these ones over here with the Xbox logos already like set up. As you can see here, I'm in the UK West. Hopefully that will help you try and sort your latency issues out. Right. Aaron Greenberg, the Xbox Games Marketing at Microsoft, has come out with a tweet saying thank you to all 10 million who have joined us on this record-setting launch. Love to see how much time and delight you all are finding in this game of a generation. And as you can see here, thanks to an astronomical 10 million Starfield players, it's quite possible that this game will maybe eclipse Skyrim. I mean, I guess maybe that's going a bit too far because that game has been around for donkey's years. But considering this is on Game Pass and has the Game Pass effect, and it is new, who knows? Maybe it can have that success. And Bethesda Game Studio says, thank you to more than 10 million Starfield explorers for creating the biggest launch in Bethesda's history. That is a pretty awesome thing to say. and I hope the game goes on to future successes because the game is awesome. And to those people that are saying, look how many people have completed this game, I think I've got like, what, 30, 40, 50 hours in this game now? I know that is nothing compared to some people, but I've got a busy life. But at the end of the day, I think I'm like a quarter of the way through the story because I keep getting distracted, going planet to planet and just trying to go from settlement to settlement. I just go somewhere and then I spend like 2-3 hours there and then I have to jump off. It is what it is. All right, breaking news here. Microsoft addresses the huge Xbox leaks, with Xbox chief Phil Spencer describing them as disappointing in an internal memo. Reads Phil Spencer's memo here, which is he's, they're talking about a leak by revealing another leak. It doesn't. I do apologize for the bright screen. I have actually reached out to Tom Warren regarding maybe a dark mode or just a dimming of lights because this website fails accessibility on multiple grounds. But as you can see here, here's the Phil Spencer tweet. We've seen the conversation around old emails and documents. It's hard to see our team's work shared in this way because so much has changed and there's so much to be excited about right now. And in the future, we will share the real plans when we are ready. Now, if we remember in my last video, which I'm not going to go over too much, but we had the list of games and none of those timelines pretty much matched what we have today. So it's quite possible that a lot of that stuff, including the console, is actually going to differ come launch. Don't forget that there was rumors about a Series S DVD drive or Blu-ray drive that was supposed to release for the Series S to allow you to play your disc-based games on your console. There's no reason why that self-same drive wouldn't work on the new Xbox Series X digital console. This isn't a PlayStation digital console. This isn't the way Sony do their stuff. Sony are releasing a digital version of their console, a new digital version with a drive that will not be compatible with the current PS5 digital. So if you have a PS5 digital console now, they've already said that the drive that's coming will not be compatible with that. And if you plug it in, it simply will not work. They are actively disabling it so you can sell your PS5 and buy a new one, or just go and buy a new one. Microsoft will not do that. There's no evidence or precedence to show that they do that. They allow you to use your accessories from all the way back from the Xbox One all the way to here. So having the drive available for the Series S will mean that that same self-save drive will be available. Now the conversation is going to come to, well, I'm paying $500 for the console. Why am I having to pay more for the drive? Well, you're buying a 2 terabyte hard drive. That in itself is the cost of what you're making up. Now, I'm assuming, big assumption here, that they're going to offer the digital version with a 1 terabyte hard drive. Why you would want that, I don't know. We've already seen the limitations with the Series S. But in the event that you do, it will be cheaper. And then you can subsidize the cost with a Blu-ray drive. I reckon that's pretty much going to be the way it goes. Now, here's Phil Spencer's memo in full. Team, today several documents submitted in the court proceedings related to our proposal acquisition of Activision Blizzard were unintentionally disclosed. I know this is disappointing, even if many of the documents are well over a year old and our plans have evolved. This also means that what we saw in that roadmap has pretty much changed, but it still gives us a rough guide as to what they were planning. That ain't gonna change. I also know we all take the confidentiality of our plans and our partners' information very seriously. This leak obviously is not us living up to that expectation. We will learn from what happened and be better going forward. We will put incredible amounts of passion and energy into our work, and this is never how we want that hard work to be shared with the community. That said, there's so much more to be excited about, and when we're ready, we'll share the real plans with our players. Of course, the PlayStation fans have already taken to stride and have gone, yeah, real plans, wink, wink. But, who are we to say that what's being shared, considering it is very old, is even credible anymore? At the end of the day, they are just fanning the flames and people are falling for the bait. I wouldn't. I would just leave them, don't engage, because as long as they don't get engagement, they'll quiet down sooner or later. In closing, I appreciate all of the work that you pour into Team Xbox to surprise and delight our players. In the days and weeks ahead, let's stay focused on what we can control. Continuing the amazing success of Starfield, which is a massive success, the upcoming launch of the incredible and accessible Forza Motorsport, and continuing to build games, services, and devices that millions of players can enjoy. So as you can see, the information that came out is a little disappointing to them, but it's also old information. Whether that's damage control or not, who knows? Who cares? At the end of the day, we've seen the console, what it looks like. I don't think that design is going to change. We've seen the new controller, which I'm super excited about. I hope it goes into the Xbox Design Lab. One thing that I do want to mention regarding this is that during the video I made yesterday that I posted with the XDL, that apparently actually stands for Xbox Design Lab. Now, what does this mean? The digital console will be customizable to your liking in the Xbox Design Lab. You can basically custom build your Xbox on the outer shell. Obviously, the innards will probably be the same, but it'll be interesting to see if they actually go a step further and allow you to actually upgrade the PC parts to better parts. Who knows? That'll be interesting to see down the road. Right, Jez here, now that we can get away from the bright screen, has made a collection of statements which I've read through and I actually quite agree with them. And we'll see down below fan favorite PlayStation fanboys going against him, and I'll comment on those too. But he goes, weird takes I've seen that I feel need debunking over Xbox. Phil musing on Nintendo was aspirational corpo speak. Now, Phil has wanted, no, what company wouldn't want to buy Nintendo? Sony would love to buy Nintendo. Valve would love to buy it. Nintendo is just one of those companies that just print money. At the end of the day, what company doesn't want to print money? Gently explaining why it was a bad idea, which he did in the memo, without alienating the commenter. Calling Baldur's Gate 3 second run refers to the fact that it's not launching on Xbox first. I agree with this because that's how I understood it. It will be entering its second run when it hits Xbox. Some people, even journalists, obviously PlayStation-centric journalists, took this to mean second rate for some reason. And even the CEO of Larian Studios came out and understood it the same way that, Phil was mentioning it. Like others, Xbox is launching a discless Xbox Series X. No evidence yet that they plan to stop supporting Blu-ray. External generic USB Blu-ray is potentially very easy for Xbox to implement. This is exactly what I said right earlier, because there was rumors already around this, so there's no reason they couldn't do this. Works on Windows, etc. The market for discs is shrinking. There's no mention of Halo in the leaks, because nothing from Xbox Game Studios leaked. It was all on the Bethesda side. That doesn't mean Halo is doomed. I mean, I haven't seen anyone talking about Halo is doomed, but if you think Halo is doomed, you're delusional. I think Microsoft will continue to push that brand. But I think if the next one doesn't do phenomenally well, I think they will start to reconsider or just give the game to another studio. No real confirmation yet. Xbox is working on an Xbox handheld. In my opinion, the handheld SKU could refer to supporting OEMs with unique Windows shells. Xbox new head of hardware, Rowan Sons, used to lead PC OEM for Windows. They should make a handheld though. Now that's what I said before, right? In the video I released yesterday, I said this could be their own handheld or them just using that design to, show that they've got it on the Steam Deck, on the Asus ROG, and other handheld devices that can basically play Game Pass and potentially play Game Pass PC games natively. I should be vacationing, but instead I'm reading all of these docs. And of course we have Reforged Gaming. Completely disagree about it being aspirational corpo speak, or why wouldn't it be? Phil points to stock purchases by some he is staying in contact with that could create opportunities. Well, which executive wouldn't want to get their hands on a profitable business? Like, why is this new to people? If Sony was doing this, all of these bellends would be championing it like it's the second coming of Jesus. They would be jumping for joy and celebrating like it's Christmas or whatever celebration you celebrate. It's just dumb. Ma'am, this is full of aspirational language. We're the only company with a chance. Of course they are the only company. Sony couldn't afford this in their wildest dreams. This is negotiating and setting the stage back to in 2020. And that's the other thing. There's been no other talk about it since 2020 for a more viable target, which is ABK. Microsoft will not and should not, in my opinion, try to buy Nintendo. I agree. Nintendo are their own thing. Let them do what they do. But would Nintendo games go to a wider audience if they did join Microsoft? Yes, they would. Would it be bad for gaming? Potentially. As Microsoft's grasp on the industry grows bigger and bigger, they begin to dominate and control more and more. Isn't that exactly what Sony's doing? Yes, and that's also a bad thing. So, I'll leave that there. Right, this one here is a bit of bad news. Now, I'm a massive Evil Dead fan. I played this game on the beta and I tried to play it at launch. None of my friends really enjoyed it. I did, but I really couldn't find anyone else to play it with, so I had to kind of put it down. It's a bit sad, but they say to the Evil Dead, the game community, today we have made the decision not to pursue the development of new content for Evil Dead, the game. We also confirmed that we will not be releasing a Nintendo Switch version of the game, because no one is playing the game. We will keep the servers up for the foreseeable future and address any major issues that arise. So that's good. So for hackers, cheaters, bugs that come up, they will fix those. There's no plans to turn the servers off for people that had bought it. Much like Anthem is right now, still going live. You can go into the game, play the full game, and do multiplayer, whatever you want. This is exactly the same. You'll be able to enjoy what is there with anyone you want to play. On behalf of the entire team at Saber, thank you for all the groovy times and your continued support. Now, a lot of people are upset that this has actually happened, but this just shows if people are not supporting the game, it's just not going to survive. And even with Game Pass, I think this was, I can't remember if this was day one Game Pass, but it just shows that you need to market your game. I spoke to a number of people and they didn't even know this game was even a thing. They heard about it, and I don't think they should have done this like a Dead by Daylight game either, because Dead by Daylight just appeals to more. At the end of the day, Evil Dead is just such a niche franchise. I love the franchise. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite of all time. I love Ash, but at the end of the day, when you've got Dead by Daylight, basically doing what these people are doing here, but offering you characters from all genres, it's always going to appeal more than one that is just showing you the basic ones. And, well, not the basic ones, but one specific niche. And I kind of wish that they, instead of making this a kind of survival 1v4 or whatever, however you describe these games, they would have just made it like a single player experience story game that people could buy, enjoy, experience, laugh with the one-line jokes, immerse themselves into Ash's world and just enjoy, being taken over by the Necronomicon. But instead they decided to go for this approach and it didn't hold up. And it's disappointing, it's sad, but it is the way it is. And if you don't support games, well, this is what eventually happens to them. Right, so this part here is pretty scary, right? This is where Microsoft actually what was outlined, how much they actually pay to get games on Game Pass. So as we can see here, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, 300 million. Red Dead 2, 5 million per month. Suicide Squad, 250 million. So Suicide Squad is going to be day one on Game Pass. Mortal Kombat 1, 250 million, or at least this is what they believe they would have to pay in order to get it. Assassin's Creed Rift, 100 million. Dying Light 2, 50 million. Gotham Knights, they've just paid 30 million to get that on there. That's crazy. Lego Star Wars, 35 million. I mean, these are GTA 5, 12 to 15 million per month. Wreckfest, 10 to 14 million. And as you can see, like Baldur's Gate, they assumed it would cost 5 million. I assume that's going to be probably near the 50 million mark now with the success it's had. But these prices are expensive. It's no wonder that they opt to just go out and buy studios instead and buy publishers instead. 300 million for Jedi Survivor is crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. Obviously, this is probably for a period of like maybe 6 months, but still, 300 million is a lot of money to pay. It's no surprise that, they went and bought out Bethesda for 7 billion. that was a steal compared when you're looking at these prices. Right, Cyberpunk. Interesting stuff. My Cyberpunk review from SkillUp will be live next week. CDPR have yet again restricted review footage to provided B-roll only. We are not allowed to use our captured gameplay until next week. No publisher or developer should ever impose that restriction in a review. It's BS. Reviews are where we showcase our experience, particularly as it pertains to actual visuals, performance, stability, etc. They are not a space for developers to showcase more carefully selected B-roll, because it generally means that they are hiding stuff, right? The good news is that this time around, CDPR have nothing to hide. The game's performance and stability is excellent, but that doesn't change the fact that reviews should never be limited to B-roll only. We cannot let it become an industry trend. And as we can see here, Cyberpunk 2077, we've got it on PS5 at an 88 at Metacritic or OpenCritic, I'm not sure. But Xbox Series X has it at 89, and PC, obviously, with its best performance, having it at 91. Now, I've seen a few people complaining about this 88 because someone gave it, I think, a 5 or a 6 somewhere. Yeah, they gave it a 7. Dude who reviewed the PS5 version gave it a 7, but gave Rocket League a 10. I mean, they weren't saying this when Starfield got reviewed, right? They were like, going, ha ha! And now they're crying that they gave the PlayStation version a 7 out of 10. The hypocrisy is real, right? And as I said here, because I'm sick and tired of looking at people crying about reviews, odd, but hey, people like different things. It is what it is. And that is generally my opinion of this right now. And that's everything, folks. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Would you be interested in having like a live stream, just channeling through those Game Pass games at 30 minutes, 40 minutes per game, just checking it out and seeing what they're like? Or would you like me to just make a video every once in a while showcasing what games are coming, what they play like, and just give like a 2-3 minute overview of my impressions of it? Let me know in the comment section below. And otherwise, let me know what you think of the current news that's going around. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Main Legend.